Hi everyone, this is Workbox Wednesday, and I'm going to start today with my first grader. So for my first grader, for the beginning, he did his calendar, and after his calendar I gave him a few logic games just to get him started for the day. So I pretty much gave him the sheet, and all I had was this shape. So from that shape he just had to make something up. So he decided to make a Minecraft guy. And this is the Minecraft guy's arm. So that's what he figured that was. Another thing I gave him was this file folder, and he just decided to do just the one side, and all he had to do was pretty much just copy the shapes the same way they were right there. So that was his morning work. After that he does reading. So for his reading he did Ride, Fly Guy. And his picture, it's kind of weird today because Fly Guy's in an airplane. And then for phonics, we played the beehive again, except this time when he landed on whatever sound he landed on. He had to say the sound, and then he had to think of a word that started with that sound. If he said the wrong sound, then he had to restart. So we're starting, I'm going to get a little bit harder as we play the game. If he lands on this star, then he gets another turn. It's what the rules are. But right now we're trying to get him to think of words that begin with that sound. He also went through his phonics lessons. So he did when E sets its name and when U sets its name. So he did those two, and he did them really good, so he didn't have to do anything else. He did 2 worksheets. He did on consonant blends, and he did another one on consonant blends. And these worksheets both came from the comprehensive curriculum for first grade. For reading, he also did a reading comprehension. And today's, he just had to read the story, and he had to list 3 things that each of the kids did in the story. For spelling, we did quite a few things. First, we played tic-tac-toe, so pretty much I had the list of words, and I have his list of words on this worksheet, and I just pretty much said the word, and he spelled it, and then I would put one word, and then he would spell, and pick another spot, and we would cover our spots with our X's and our O's. And both of these worksheets were printable, so if you would like them, let me know, and I'll try to find to see where I got them. And then for this, it's his spelling words on one side, and then it has like different activities to do with the spelling words. So I had these 3 marked. He did this one today, so I erased it, and he gets to choose from these 2 for the next couple days. And this is what he did with his words. So he pretty much had to take his words and he had to go around his paper. So he chose to do that design. So he pretty much kept writing and turning his paper until all the space was taken care of. And that's the design that came out. After that, we did our riddle. And today's riddle is, I am found in the sea and on land, but I do not walk or swim. I travel by foot, but I am toeless. No matter where I go, I'm never far from home. So, he said, well, how am I supposed to know this? His answer to me. So I asked him, well, what animals are in the sea? Which ones walk around the sand? And he told me a crab and a snail. So he actually had the answer on there. So I had to kind of like pull it out of him. So I just asked him, well, compare the 2. Which one has feet? Which one doesn't? Which one has toes? Which one doesn't have any toes? So he came up with the snail, and that's how he spells snail. So I told him how to spell snail, and then he just went out in his worksheet and practiced those letters. Another thing that he did was his 180 days of writing. So for today, he just had to read the text and put an X to each sentence below that added more details to the paragraph. I still have to check to see if it's correct. We will be correcting whatever mistakes he did on Friday. And like yesterday, we had done the book on the rock, and he had chosen the tree. So for today, he went around with his little editing worksheet, and he went on his rough draft, and I helped him do the ones with the spelling because he wouldn't know otherwise. So I circled all his spellings, and then the other ones he fixed himself with the rough draft. And then I had him on a different piece of paper fix the spellings to the ones that he had gotten wrong, because tomorrow he will be redoing the story. I might have him do it on the computer just to give him a little bit break on writing, but I'm trying to teach him how to correct his things. Another thing we did for language arts was our first language lessons, and in the first language lessons it has the Lion and the Mouse. So I read him the story, and then we began a lap book for that. So he did the moral of the story. He did the part of kind, what things he can do to be kind to his brother, his sister, his dad, and his mom. And he did how the mouse was kind to the lion and how the lion was kind to the mouse. And then tomorrow we will continue finishing off his lap book. You have to wait a second, Mikey, hold on. Sorry about that. My kids are screaming and fighting over a VHS movie. Okay, so the next thing that we did was our history. So we read through the next, I'm not even going to open this up. We read right through the next lessons. We went over rights and responsibilities of a citizen. And this was what he did yesterday. And then here it asked them like why we have laws. Does everyone have to follow them? And he kind of gave examples of things that he learned. And then the other side started with like a little quiz that they have in the book. And he answered all his questions. And then we also did a map and globe skills. So he just pretty much answered whatever questions were here using this map up here for a little bit of geography. He also, in the questions, it was asking about symbols and about the presidents. So I had him, for art class, draw a George Washington. And we used a YouTube channel. What is it called? I think Art for Kids Hub. So that's what he used to draw his George Washington. And then we went on to math. So for math, he did a roll a number. So he just rolled 2 dice and did all his numbers and then just pretty much answered the questions to it. I also had him just do 2 of these houses, which I wrote the number up here, and then he just had to fill it in and then tell me how many 10s and how many 1s and add it up and give me the answer. He did his skip counting by 3s. We're still having a little trouble with this worksheet, so he's doing that. And then he also did his lesson for today. So for his lesson for today, let me get to it. It's 23. He did his tens, he did his facts, he did his number line, dictation, greater than, less than, that had him, oh, he skipped that one, he missed it. Numbers in between, his facts, and he had to watch out for his signs, his money cup, before and after. He had a fact at the end, and he also, which I have been forgetting to show you guys, he's been doing speed drills. So every lesson has a speed drill, and he's had like seconds remaining. For today he had 34 seconds remaining out of a minute, and he's getting them all correct. So it's pretty much like review for him when it comes to the facts, but it's starting to get a little bit harder for him. We also reviewed the shapes, how many sides, how many corners, etc. And that is it. That's what my first grader has done for today. Okay, so for my next work boxes for my preschooler, he did some work today and he was having one of those days. So he's done his calendar page. He also had the same page as his brother, and he decided to do a gun. This is like a, he's really into soldiers. So this is a soldier holding his little pistol. This is his name, so he practiced his name. He's since he's having trouble between the B and the D. I gave him another worksheet and he found them and he did a really good job with that. He practiced printing his numbers. I did some dictation of letters and he wrote them. It's erased a little bit since I've put them all together. For reading, he was doing different and it doesn't belong and just circling the bubbles. We played a game, so pretty much he had this game piece and I had this one, and then I would just pull out letters out of our stone letters, and then whatever letter came out is the one that I would print, and whatever letter he got is the one that would print. And then the first person that wrote all their letters down was the winner of the game. So he ended up winning that game, of course. A mommy secret. And then he also did a maze from 1 through 12. So he just followed the maze. And here is his letter D. This is when we started having problems. He gets tired. So once he starts this, it's just time for no more school. So he just did his D's, and then he just started marking whatever on the page just so he could get done. So it has 2 colors because I made him redo it. I do that anyways. And I X'd out all the ones he did wrong because I do want him to learn that I do not like that behavior. So I do correct it, and then he finishes his class, and then he goes. What does happen as a result is he does not get his token for the day. So that is what we have done. So that's what both of my boys did for our Wednesday workbox. So if you have any questions, please leave them down below and I'll get back to you and try to find whatever answers you need. Thank you for watching.